Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Now, today's story in particular is one that left me thinking long and hard. And I think it will do the same for many of you who are watching. And it's a story that shows how deeply entrenched racism can be, even in places we'd like to think are past the worst of it, right? Now, a white man recently visited Harrison, Arkansas, which is a town that has gained attention for its overt racial hostility. Now, known by many as the most racist town in America, apparently, this town has a history that includes hate groups and a deeply entrenched culture of white supremacy. But this man, who clearly had a different perspective, decided to do something very powerful. He held up a Black Lives Matter sign in the heart of the town. And as you might imagine, the reactions were appalling. The video footage that's now circulating online shows this man, right? A white man standing alone, holding a sign that simply states Black Lives Matter. And what happens next, instead of the applause or acknowledgement that we should come with standing up for justice, right? He's actually met with complete vileness. Let's have a look.
About 10 minutes, I'm going to be back. You better be gone.
Okay, come back.
Harrison, Arkansas is the most racist town in the United States.
This guy visits the most racist town in America, holding a Black Lives Matter sign.
Have a little pride in your race, brother! Black pride, worldwide!
I wouldn't say after dark. Honestly, dude, you have balls of steel, because you could get hospitalized by some guys that want to beat your ass.
I've had several old men come out here, look out the window and tell me, you better go tell that nigga to get out of here and shit. About 10 minutes, I'm going to be back. You better be fucking gone.
Okay, come back.
What about the white lives? We matter too. You're a white man. Crazy.
You're a dumbass motherfucker. You dumb shit.
Are you a Marxist?
Communist!
Domestic terrorists. Why don't you take it to Chicago or New York and hold it up for the shit together?
Explain to me why I couldn't buy that.
Real job.
I'm Jesus.
Get your ass out of town. That shit don't make shit here.
Hey, all lives matter, not just black.
You're a Caucasian.
Yeah, you're white.
You look like a white guy holding a black flag.
I'd be ashamed to be a white boy carrying that stupid sign.
You're white, aren't you? Oh, boy. How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Thank you. Say something to do?
Yes, sir.
I am good.
Because I'm tired of seeing this right here is the biggest hoax there ever was.
It's just the next thing to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, black lives do matter, but what about ours, man?
Apparently black people's lives matter more than us.
Apparently.
You know, the Irish had...
Walmart, they put out this statement.
Now, I have to tell you, right, as a South African watching this, the reactions are deeply unsettling, and honestly, they remind me that racism, whether in South Africa or the US or anywhere else, is not just a problem of the past, and that it's very much alive today. Now, just like me, right, you might be wondering, why are white people in this town so angry at a simple message like Black Lives Matter? I mean, it's a question that not only demands an answer, but one that forces us to reflect on the broader implications of this hate. I mean, Black Lives Matter isn't a movement about hate. It's not about one race versus the other. It's about fighting against injustice, inequality, and systemic violence, which are things, if you think about, that have afflicted black communities around the world for centuries. And yet, in a place like this, holding up that sign seems to trigger something deeply rooted, which is something very uncomfortable, something that people are unwilling to confront, And I can't help but draw parallels to our own history in South Africa. I mean, we've spent decades under apartheid, which was an institutionalized system of racial segregation that was designed to oppress and dehumanize black majority. But even in post-apartheid South Africa, there's still places, attitudes, and deep-seated prejudice that reflect that same kind of resistance to racial equality we see in Harrison. I mean, people who are so threatened by the idea that black people should have equal rights, equality, and equal dignity and respect. And to me, it's clear that the hostility this white man faced in Harrison speaks to the discomfort people feel when they are forced to confront their own complicity in racial systems. I mean, it's easier, right, to lash out, to curse, to threaten someone who's challenging the status quo than to look inward and admit that perhaps, just perhaps, there's something wrong with the way we've been taught to view race. I mean, what's striking and frightening is how deeply embedded these ideas are in places like Harrison. We could almost hear the collective defensiveness when Black Lives Matter message was shared. It's almost as if the mere suggestions that Black Lives Matter was an existential threat to the people who've lived their whole lives with the opposite belief, and that is White Lives Matter more. But that's the sneaky nature of racism, isn't it? It's not always out in the open, but sometimes it's in the very air people breathe. And this, of course, brings me back to a question I've long pondered on, which is why are white people so threatened by the concept of racial equality? I mean, why does a simple sign advocating for justice and respect cause such a violent backlash? It's a question that doesn't have any easy answer, but I think the fear and the anger and the hatred stem from something far deeper than in a disagreement over an ideology. It's about losing power. It's about a system that's been built on the oppression of others and the fear that if those at the top don't continue to dominate, then things might just fall apart. And here in South Africa, we know the consequences of fear-based resistance to change. I mean, we've seen what happens when people who've held power for so long refuse to let it go, even when it's unjust. We've seen the violence, we've seen the denial, the refusal to confront the truth, but we've also seen change, I guess. It's slow, it's difficult, but I believe it's possible. So when I watch this video, I don't just see a man holding a sign, I see a stark reminder that the fight for equality, for justice and dignity is ongoing. It's a reminder that places like Harrison may seem like the relics of the past, but they exist, even in 2024, in the shadows and corners of our world, and they remind us that as much as we'd like to believe racism is a thing of the past, it's still very real and present. But perhaps I believe we are brave enough to stand up for what's right. Like the man in Harrison, we can start to chip away all those walls of hatred. Now that's just my opinion. Please, let's continue to engage in the comment section. We really want to hear from you. What are your thoughts in regards to this? And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye for now.